In this presentation, Chelsea Arnsdorf, Ashley Lehman, and Hallie P will be explaining the purpose of livestock identification, specifically tattooing and ear notching, and how an agriculture educator can produce an educational laboratory procedure based on livestock identification.
Farmers, agricultural industry owners, agricultural corporation owners, and many other people linked to the agricultural field are both required and need to identify their livestock. Agriculturalists identify livestock for purposes including proof of ownership, accurate record keeping, disease, eradication, food safety, breeding, global trade, emergency management, and/or endangered species tracking.
Tattooing, hot branding, freeze branding, ear tags, electronic ear tags, and ear notching are some of the most common forms of identification of livestock. We will be discussing the broader topics of branding and ear notching, and specifically about tattooing and ear notching. The recommendation is that two different methods be used in combination with each other to ensure permanent identification. Once an agriculturalist selects a method of identification to use, it is important to be consistent. It is also important not to duplicate numbers over a minimum of 10-year period. Tattooing is another form of permanent identification that is commonly used in all species and involves imprinting an identification number or letter combination into the skin of the animal using inedible ink. Different species of animals are tattooed differently. For cattle, goats, sheep, and swine, the tattoo is placed above the first rib of the ear so it does not interfere with the use of ear tags. Horses are often tattooed on the inside surface of their lips. Sheep can be tattooed on the inside of their flank, and swine can be tattooed on the shoulder for carcass identification during slaughter.
The tattooing instrument uses number or needle dies made of sharp, needle-like projections that are secured on the application pliers. The ink is usually applied to the tattoo site after it has been disinfected with alcohol. Using the pliers, the identification number is pierced into the skin, and additional ink is rubbed into the punctures. After healing, the permanent tattoo will be visible. Most purebred animals are required to be registered and permanently identified by their breed associations. Tattooing is the best permanent method of identification for registered animals because it does not harm the animal's appearance or reduce its value in any way.
In many cases, branding is the ideal permanent way of animal identification and can be easy to read from a distance if done properly. Many times, a brand is used to identify ownership, but can also be used for individual identification. There are several types of branding: hot branding and freeze branding. Traditionally, a long-handled iron rod would be attached to an iron symbol, usually symbolizing your farm name or number if identifying individual animals. The iron is heated until red hot, then placed on the body and burned into the skin. The scar then shows up as the branded number or symbol. The second kind, freeze branding, is done using dry ice and liquid nitrogen or denatured alcohol. The iron is placed in a cooler or something similar, completely covering the brand with the dry ice and alcohol. The area in which you are branding should be shaved, cleaned with alcohol, and then branded, holding the brand in place for 45 seconds to a minute.
Ear tags are another form of livestock identification. This is a cheap, alternative method compared to a permanent ID. Many people use this form as it is quick and easily done. The ear tag and back is placed into the tagging gun, placed on the animal's ear, and can be tagged in just a few seconds. However, these tags can be hard to see from a distance. Several disadvantages could include losing the ear tag, and if the animal is stolen, the tag could be easily replaced with no way of proving the animal is then yours. Many times, ear tags are used for convenience along with another method of identification, such as a tattoo or a brand.
Pictured on the bottom left is a tag which has already been placed in the gun. To the right is an easy process of tagging a calf. Pictured on top are the recommended tag colors.
Ear notching is widely utilized in the swine industry, but can be used in other industries as well. This causes minimal stress to the pigs, and they will scab in approximately 1 day and be completely healed within 1 week. Registered pigs must be notched within 7 days of birth. The universal ear notching system is 139. Ear notching is done because it serves as a permanent ID system. It provides individual identity for all animals. It is an inexpensive means of identification, and it also enables producers to keep an accurate set of records. Ear notching is done normally when the tail is docked or at 1 to 3 days after birth. V-notchers, disinfectant, wound dressing are all needed materials to complete this process.
This video demonstration shows the process by which many swine farm owners ear notch their livestock using the ear notcher and wound dressing. This pig is identified as litter number 14, pig number 1. He starts with a 9, a 3, then 2 ones in the left ear for the litter number. For the right ear, this piglet gets 1 notch for the individual number.
Equipment must be kept clean at all times, cleaned with a toothbrush and dipped in disinfectant or alcohol between litters. After use, it may be cleaned in hot soapy water and placed in disinfectant for 10 minutes, then stored dry in a plastic bag. The second pig is identified as litter number 22, individual 8.
The pig's right ear is the litter ear. All pigs in the same litter will receive identical notches in this ear. All notches should be placed at least 1/4 inch apart. The left ear is like the first name for humans. It is the individual number of that pig in that litter. A maximum of 2 notches are allowed in each ear quadrant, except in the 81 place. A minimum of 1 notch is required per ear. When writing notching numbers down, the litter number should be written first and then the individual number written second. For example, 81-6 is litter 81, individual 6. When notching, you add the number corresponding to the location of the notch to the other areas that are notched. For example, if there is a single notch in the 1 and 3 areas, the 2 notches in the 27 area on the right litter ear, you would add 1 plus 3 plus 27 plus 27 to get a total of 58, and then you would do the same for the left ear.
Now it is your turn to practice. We recommend that you pause the video to allow some time to practice drawing notches on scratch paper. First, draw 2 sets of ears on a scratch piece of paper. Use the first set of ears for the first problem of 43:11 and the second set for 61:9. The following slide will show the correct drawings for these problems. Good luck.
For the first example, 43:11, 1 notch is placed in the 27 location, 1 in the 9 location, 2 in the 3 location, and 1 in the 1 location of the right ear. The notch is drawn in the 9 area, and 2 are in the 1 area on the left ear. For the second example, 61-9, 2 notches are placed in the 27 location, 2 in the 3 location, and 1 in the 1 location on the right ear. In the left ear, 1 notch is placed in the 9 location.
To set up a lab for ear notching or tattooing in your classroom, you will need whiteboards, whiteboard markers, a V-notcher, thick paper, a tattoo gun, and tattoo ink. First, show both pieces of equipment to the students and explain their purposes and give valuable background on each process. Then, decide which you would like to show first. We will use the tattoo gun first. Choose the needles to be used in the tattoo gun and set them accordingly. Apply the ink to the gun and press the gun closed on the thick paper. Allow the students to choose their needles and let them do 1 to 2 different tattoos in the thick paper. For the ear notching, draw pig ears on the whiteboards and have the students copy on scratch paper for practice. Demonstrate the universal system and allow the students to practice while you walk around the room and provide assistance. This is a skill to know, as it is most commonly used in the swine industry. Have fun with this. Try to apply the skill as possibly a competition for speed at setting up ear notches.